So what's going on, guys? My name is Mr. Dalek JD, and in this video I'm going to be giving you a easy to understand tutorial on how to complete the hardcore Easter egg quest within the final Reich World War II zombies. Now this is to unlock the Dark Reunion trophy, which is the alternate ending to the Easter egg and is nowhere related to the ending for the casual Easter egg quest, which is called Fireworks. Now this Easter egg can be completed in solo, 2, 3 or 4 players, but I would recommend you play this in co-op as there is a lot of things that you need to do. If you guys need help finding players to complete this Easter egg, then feel free to drop your PSN, Xbox Live and Steam IDs down below in the comment section to help you find some players. And if you do find this guide useful, then be sure to let me know as well down below in the comment section, and feel free to drop a thumbs up if it was useful. Now anyway, jumping in with the first step, and the main first things that you need to know when doing this hardcore Easter egg is you're going to want to go through the casual Easter egg quest up into the point of shooting the hilt with a Tesla gun. You don't want to do that, as that will put you at the point of no return, and that will make you start the normal casual Easter egg boss fight. We're doing the hardcore in this video and this guide, so we aren't going to be doing that, but you want to be working your way through getting all of these steps done for that casual quest. And if you don't know how to do that exactly, then I'll have a link down below in the description which will show you guys exactly how to complete that casual quest. As well as the casual Easter egg, you want to make sure that you have also upgraded all 4 Tesla guns inside of your game. You absolutely need all 4 in order to complete this hardcore Easter egg quest, and if you don't know how to complete those, I've got guides below on my channel, and if there isn't a specific upgrade yet that you're looking for, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. Now the first step we're going to do is something that you can do as soon as you spawn into the game on round 1. This can be done on round 1 or at any point once you've gotten to the final step of the casual path and not pick up the Emperor's Hill. So around the village, in the spawn area, by the pub, the main village and the riverside, there are going to be 3 spinning tops which are going to be sitting on windows and on rooftops around this area. I'll show you guys all of the known locations that I know within this video, but I'll continuously update the description with more locations and screenshots of more spinning top locations if I didn't cover them inside of this video. But if you don't manage to find any locations that you see within this video, then simply restart your game. Now we're looking for a red, a yellow and a green spinning top, and once you've picked up all 3 of these, you want to make your way to this toy shop window, and by interacting with it you can place these down on the window. Now these spinning tops act like a clock, and the hands when they're first put on the window are facing to 6 o'clock. Now around the map inside of windows, and again I show you the locations of all the known ones that I know within this video, is going to be these small Enigma machines. These are small little devices that have a coloured bow on it and a number. So as we see on this red one here, this has the number 9 and it's got a red bow. Now we find another one which is a yellow bow, and again it has a number, and I've never been able to find a third one inside of any games, so you can pretty much just guess the final one. But what you want to do is you want to enter in the number that matches with the colour of the spinning top. So if red was 9 in this, then simply I change the time on the red spinner so that it matches the hands of a clock and will match the number 9. These randomize every game, so these won't be the same numbers, and these Enigma parts do spawn in different places around the map every game, so be sure to be checking all of these locations if you don't find it specifically in the locations that I do. Now for the third and final spinning top that you don't know the number for, as you couldn't find the coloured bow for it, simply spin it round until this little compartment underneath opens and will give you a record which you want to pick up. Now if you're starting this at a very early round in the game, you want to make sure that you've opened up the power for the bunker door before you can attempt this, but you want to run towards the riverside, and you're going to notice a weather vane, and you want to interact with it, and the weather vane is going to slowly spin around and then point towards a very tiny yellow light. It can point to its left, it's straight in front of you, or to its right, and this is going to show the location of a button. Wherever the vane is pointing to, it's pointing to a button in that location. In this video it's pointing straight in front of me, and it's this small window here. You can see this small yellow light. You shoot it and that will activate a step where the watermill behind us will move to show a Tesla coil that we're going to need to interact with later on in the quest. Now here's me showing you where the button can spawn on this bridge just by the tower. It will literally be where I am there. You'll be able to see it. It's a pretty small yellow light, just like the one we shot in the window. That's only if the vane is pointing to that bridge, or it can be pointing the other way, which is the opposite direction to the right, and it's going to be this wall here by the courtyard. It will be, again, that small yellow button. You want to shoot that wherever it spawns for you. You want to shoot it, and the windmill will move. Once the watermill has revealed these Tesla cores, you want to shoot them with an upgraded Tesla. It can be any upgrade, it doesn't matter, as long as it's upgraded, and it will power the windmill and give power to the pub. And you can go into the pub, and you can go up to this vinyl player, and you can insert the record, and it will start playing some music. Now at this point, you want to keep playing through the casual Easter egg quest until you've examined one of the hands of God and the Zeppelin is flying around over the map, as you won't be able to start this next step without it. Now very early on in the game during the casual quest, there is a objective where you have to turn on power generators in both the morgue and the laboratory. Well, during this step now, both of those switches will have again turned off, and you have 30 seconds to interact with those, switch them back on, and then run back into the comms room. You're going to notice in front of the door to the salt mine, there's going to be another power switch. You only have 30 seconds to go to this and switch it on, so make sure you don't miss it, or you have to do this step again. And by switching that power switch, it's going to reveal a Tesla coil. Now before we shoot the Tesla coil with an upgraded Tesla gun, we want to make sure that you have a Brenner head nearby, as you have a very little amount of time in order to do this step, and hopefully you can achieve it first time. So with Brenner head right near the comms room, we are going to shoot this coil with the Tesla gun, and you're going to notice that the lights are going to go out, and we only have 30 seconds to complete this step. You want to pick up the Brenner head and run over to either side of the doors here that lead to both the morgue and the laboratory, and there's going to be these metal grates. When you activate the Tesla coil and the lights go out, these grates are going to open, and with the Brenner head, you want to shine it onto this little metal thing here, and it will reveal a number sequence here on the sort of Enigma looking machine. What you want to do is you want to switch all of these numbers until it comes up with a number which is labeled with a sort of blue stamp on it. The grate that leads to the laboratory is quite dark when the lights are turned back on, so the Brenner's head and shining it will help you out a lot in being able to make sure you're looking at the right number that you're changing in order to get these blue stamps, these blue fingerprints. But once you've picked up both of these parts, you're going to have parts of a coin. Now if you failed this step for whatever reason, you didn't manage to get to these grates in time, you're going to have to go to the next round before you can shoot the Tesla coil again and proceed with this step. But with both parts, make your way down to the Emperor's chamber, and in front of the statue you'll be able to place the coin in, and it will reveal a sword called the Red Talon. Now this next step can be pretty tricky, so I'm going to give you my best advice here. I'm playing a co-op game of 2 players, and I only think 1 player is needed to do this step. But with the sword inside of the pub, you're going to get soul kills when you melee kill zombies with this sword. I highly recommend that you buy the melee perk, as it seems to affect the sword and allow it to one hit. But essentially you're going to be charging up this record player and getting kills with the sword, and over time the sword is going to become more powerful. It's going to have this red glow. Now I believe the way this step works is you have to get consecutive amount of kills in a certain amount of time without leaving the pub, and this is easiest done on a pest round, as I managed to do this within 1 round. And there's been other times where I've been training zombies around the pub, taking them out through the window and leading them back around and killing them, and I just never seem to be able to get this to work. The record player just seems to be taking an infinite amount of zombie souls, so you need to be stood and not leave the pub, get consecutive kills until the vinyl player stops taking souls, and you'll notice that the music that was playing before has now changed to something different. Now I highly recommend getting a zombie at the end of the round, because you're going to want to have your sound turned up very well to listen to this, and the record player is going to play you a sequence of numbers which are going to sound like knocks. In our game specifically, the order that we had was 4155. Now when you're listening for this in your game, you will have a different sequence. You might have the same sequence of numbers, they change every single game. but you want to listen out for when the last set of numbers have played, and there's going to be a long pause, as when these come back, this is going to be your starting number sequence, because you don't want to input this wrong, otherwise you're going to have a really hard time. So when there's a long pause of not hearing any knocks, that's when you know the sequence is about to start, and there's going to be a short pause in between each number, and the ticks that you're hearing is going to be the number you're inputting. So I'm going to stop talking for a moment so you can hear our sequence and listen to how this setup works. So as you can clearly hear from there, it's 4155. Now, at this point of the Easter egg, you may or may not have already done this, but at this point, you want to make sure that you have the upgraded Teslas by this point, and also you've completed all the main steps up to the hilt, as you're going to want to have inputted the voice of God notes from the paintings. Now, the machine is going to allow you to input some notes again, and we're going to be inputting the number sequence that the record player gave us. Now, from facing the machine, looking at the statue, you input these numbers in a clockwise motion. So ours being 4155, we start with the podium on the left of the main button and work our way around in a clockwise motion, entering 4155, and by pressing the button in the middle, it confirms it, and if you have this confirm the voice of God thing that appears on your screen, that's when you know it's accepted that code and it is correct, and we're moving on to the final step of the Easter egg before the Panzer Mortar boss fight. Now, like I mentioned, at this point, you will need to have all 4 upgraded Tesla weapons, and with each upgraded Tesla weapon, you want to shoot the chandelier on the ceiling, which is facing towards the Barbarossa statue. You need to be aiming for the candles specifically, as when you've done this right, you'll notice a surge of electricity hitting that chandelier, and you'll hear a really, really loud noise. You need to make sure you've repeated this for all 4 of the Tesla guns, and you'll notice a new prompt on screen saying that you've got this new sort of ruby part for your inventory, and that is going to completely fill up our heads-up display, and we can now work on getting into the boss fight by shooting the hilt with coordinated shots of the Tesla guns. Now, make sure at this point that you have full armor, that you have all your perks set up, and that you have full ammo for your weapons. Packer punching is definitely necessary, and try and get as many jack-in-the-boxes as you can from the mystery box. As many players with them as possible will definitely help out, and camouflage as a class ability is also going to be a godsend for some parts of this. Now, you might be familiar already with the Panzer Mortar boss fight, and that's all well and good, as nothing changes during this fight. It's just a lot harder. The blimp that flies around in the sky is going to only show 1 light for the main turret that you need to shoot down for the battery, rather than it showing 4, and it has a lot more health than it normally does. So you're going to need to be coordinating these shots very well with your team so that you don't miss these, because the timing is very quick compared to how it normally is, and it needs pretty much constant damage in order for the battery to rain down. Now, when the battery is down, you want to make sure that you're training the zombies around the map, because this Panzer Mortar is going to be constantly following you and giving you a hard time. If you are near him, he will do a slam attack, which will pretty much wipe out all of your armor, and you don't want to do that, as you will be at a round high enough for the armor machine to probably be costing quite a lot. So the safe strategy for this is to simply kite the zombies and the boss around the entire playable area in a circle. This is what me and my friend did within this game. We kept leading them around until we had all the zombies running towards the main battery, and from there you simply want to kill the zombies as they are near the generator, and they're going to collect the souls. Now, this is going to take probably about 20 to 30 zombies, but you'll know when this is done, as the generator will have shrunk into a small pickable battery, and I'm sure you're used to these by now. And this is where the hardcore part of this boss really gets difficult, because the timing of how long you have to put this battery on the Panzer Panzermörder is literally seconds. It is really, really quick. The strategy that I found that was the most effective was to fire into the Panzermörder until he drops to the ground, but there's no text on screen saying that he is stunned. What you want to be doing is making sure that he's dropped down once. That's when you know his health is pretty low. Now, if you're playing this in co-op, have one person pick up the battery and wait near the Panzer while the other person continues to fire into him, as when this guy drops, you need to be almost instant to place that battery onto the boss. If you're playing in solo, this is a whole different story, and I'd assume that you'd want to be using jack-in-the-boxes to take away the most of the zombies that are coming for you, and to simply be ready to pick that thing up and have it ready right where the Panzer is going to drop down. Once that's been done and you've attached it to him, he's going to stroll out the map, and you're going to have a lot of zombies running after you, and you simply need to be taking them out. There's going to be quite a few spawns, and the round might change during this, but you'll know when you're finished because you will see the Zeppelin and its lightning strikes hitting the ground, and shortly after you'll notice that the Zeppelin is back in the sky flying around. Again, it's only going to have one turret that you're going to want to be shooting. It will only have one light rather than 4 in the normal one, so you really need to be concentrating as you'll fire on it with as much time as you possibly can. If this involves training the zombies round and making sure that you are okay, then make sure you don't rush into this. It's better to play this safe and slow rather than to rush in and accidentally have a unfortunate accident where you might go down, you might not have any more quick revives left in solo, or you might just get overwhelmed by zombies. But when the Panzer does come back in, you want to make sure that you're avoiding him by training him around the map with the zombies, and basically kiting until the Zeppelin has a good position for you to fire down the generator. And it's simply a rinse and repeat process from the first generator. Kite the zombies round, kill them until it turns into the main battery, and then again make sure that you stun the Panzer so he drops down once, and then that's when you know he's weak. Pick up the battery and be ready for when he drops again, because then you can attach it. He's going to leave the map again. There's going to be more zombies spawning in, and once you've taken out enough of those, the Zeppelin will fly back in. Now, this next turret that you're going to shoot is going to give you a troll generator. You're going to have it on the ground, and when you run up to it, it's going to electrify into the air and disappear back towards the Zeppelin. But don't worry, this isn't like a wrong step that you're doing. This is just part of the main process that it does every time. You want to be shooting the turrets again to shoot down one final generator, kite the zombies round, make sure you kill enough souls for it to turn into a battery, and then stun the Panzer, attach it, and boom, that is going to be the hardcore Easter egg complete. You're going to get the same Easter egg cutscene as you did in the casual one, but you'll notice that the ending is different because Klaus is still alive thanks to that ruby that we put inside of the hilt. Now, Klaus is supposed to escort us somewhere, and we're supposed to protect him, as when you stand near him, he will have granted you infinite ammo. But currently, at the time of making this, unfortunately, the part with Klaus is bugged out. But he's not supposed to be running into this door. So in a few days' time, when this gets fixed, it probably will be by the time you're watching this video, then we will be showing you exactly what happens for the real true ending, as I'm sure there is supposed to be more to it than this. Aside from that, you are also granted all perks. They're not permanent by any means, so that's a unfortunate thing, but they are permanent perk slots. So if you go down, you can still go back and buy all the perks in the map, as you have 6 perk slots, which is the maximum amount of perk machines that there are in the map. But if you enjoyed this video, you found it useful, definitely let me know in the comment section, drop a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe as well, because we'll be covering loads more Easter eggs from World War II zombies throughout the year, so you want to make sure you don't miss out on that. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.